And I've seen a lot of white women in my comments and in other videos mistaken Justin Baldoni as being POC. He's been mistaken as being...
Hey, if you got to run to a private island because your evil doings is doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
Here's the tea everyone's been waiting for. C and Diddy Combs just scored a legal win that could potentially flip the script on everything that's been swirling around him for the past year. Yup, you heard that right. The legendary music mogul, who's been embroiled in what seems like an endless legal saga, just had a judge dismiss several charges in the massive lawsuit brought against him by producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones. And this isn't just any lawsuit. It's a $30 million bombshell that's been making headlines since it was filed. So what does this mean for Diddy? Is the tide finally turning in his favor? Let's break it all down.
Looking at these allegations and thinking, where are the videos? Where are these still shots that we're seeing in these complaints? And can we investigate it to see if there's more here, potentially criminal charges?
First, let's rewind a bit. For the past year, Diddy's name has been dragged through the mud with one explosive allegation after another. Lil Rod, a producer who claimed to have worked on Diddy's album, The Love Album, off the grid, accused the music icon of some seriously wild and unsettling behavior. The accusations ranged from harassment to being coerced into uncomfortable situations, and even claimed improper conduct behind closed doors. According to Jones, this went far beyond a professional relationship. He alleged that Diddy created an unsafe and toxic environment during the production of the album. If these accusations weren't enough to shock the industry, Jones also went after some of Diddy's closest associates, even naming Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram, Diddy's adult son, Juddy's adult son, Justin Combs, and others in the lawsuit. Oh, and get this, Jones also claimed he wasn't paid for his work on the album, adding another layer of drama to the whole situation.
Cassie's lawsuit that you talked about earlier that was settled reads a lot like what we saw in the R. Kelly case in the EDNY.
When these allegations first came to light, it was like gasoline on an already smoldering fire. Diddy's reputation, which was already taking hits due to other legal battles and public controversies, seemed to be spiraling. But Diddy didn't just sit back and take it. He came out swinging, filing a motion to dismiss the lawsuit last August. His legal team, led by the sharp-tongued Erica Wolf, called the lawsuit pure fiction and didn't hold back when it came to challenging Jones and his claims. They accused Jones of exaggerating and fabricating stories in a blatant attempt to cash in on Diddy's celebrity status.
My family, friends, anyone close to me just feels like there's a lot of potential threats and everybody's just telling me what he's allegedly capable of.
Fast forward to now, and it looks like the court agrees, at least partially. On March 24, U.S. District Judge J. Paul Owetkin handed down a ruling that struck down some of the most serious accusations in Jones's lawsuit. Among the claims dismissed were those involving racketeering, breach of contract, and emotional distress. The judge ruled that Jones couldn't prove a connection between Diddy's alleged behavior and the non-payment for his work on the album under the RICO Act, that's racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations. For those wondering, essentially, the court said there wasn't enough evidence to link Diddy's alleged actions to the legal definition of racketeering. And as for the breach of contract claims, those got tossed out too, with the judge pointing out that New York law requires agreements that extend beyond 1 year to be in writing, something Jones couldn't provide.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
But wait, there's more. The judge didn't just stop at dismissing the claims. He also had some choice words for Jones' attorney Tyrone Blackburn. In what can only be described as a brutal takedown, Judge Owetkin called Blackburn's filings replete with inaccurate statements of law, conclusory accusations, and inappropriate ad hominem attacks on opposing counsel. Yikes. The judge even hinted that if Blackburn's behavior continued, he might face sanctions or disciplinary action. Talk about adding insult to injury.
Moving on, Diddy being accused of sexual assault by male employee.
Oh my God, no.
Yes, oh my God, yes.
Still, while this ruling might seem like a slam dunk for Diddy, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the Bad Boy Records founder just yet. The court allowed some parts of Jones's lawsuit to move forward, including claims under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act against both Diddy and his chief of staff, Christina Coram. Jones alleged that Diddy's actions went far beyond inappropriate behavior, claiming instances where he was pressured and transported across state and international borders under questionable circumstances. These allegations, along with claims of unwanted advances and improper touching, were detailed enough to convince the judge to let them proceed. So while the lawsuit has been significantly slimmed down, it's far from over. And here's where things get even more interesting. Yeah, of all people, decided to jump into the fray. Now, we all know Ye isn't exactly one to shy away from controversy, and true to form, he's been very vocal about his support for Diddy. Just last week, Ye went on one of his infamous online rants, this time defending Diddy and accusing his accusers of extortion. He even went so far as to call out Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, saying she had tried to blackmail him in the past. Of course, Cassie had her own response to West's claims, but more on that later. The point is, West's public backing of Diddy couldn't have come at a better time for the embattled mogul. His support not only shifts some of the public narrative, but also puts Diddy's detractors under even more scrutiny.
Listen to everybody, but you believe all proof.
Believe the facts.
This video is proof.
Hands down proof.
You know?
So, what does this recent court ruling mean for Diddy's future? Well, for starters, it's a much-needed win in what has otherwise been a grueling and humiliating legal battle. It's worth noting that Diddy is still behind bars, awaiting trial on unrelated charges, but this ruling could be a sign that his legal troubles are starting to unravel. Some are even speculating that this could pave the way for Diddy's potential release, or at least a shorter sentence. But not everyone is happy about this turn of events. Critics and alleged victims have expressed outrage over the possibility that Diddy could walk away from these serious allegations relatively unscathed. The court of public opinion, after all, is a whole other battlefield, and Diddy's reputation might take years, if not decades, to recover, assuming it ever does.
Had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Of course, this isn't just a story about legal maneuvers and courtroom drama. It's a story about power, celebrity, and the lengths some will go to protect their image. Diddy's case has raised questions about accountability in the entertainment industry and whether fame and money can shield someone from the consequences of their actions. While this ruling might be a victory for Diddy, it's also a stark reminder that the fight is far from over. Jones' remaining claims will still go to court, and who knows what will come to light during the discovery phase. One thing's for sure, this isn't the last we've heard of Lil Rod's explosive allegations.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
And let's not forget the bigger picture here. Diddy is still facing multiple lawsuits and criminal charges, many of which paint a troubling portrait of his behavior over the years. From accusations of misconduct to allegations of orchestrating elaborate schemes behind closed doors, the sheer volume of claims against him is staggering. Yet, with this recent court ruling, Diddy's team has gained some much-needed momentum. Could this be the beginning of a larger trend that sees more of these cases falling apart, or is it just a temporary reprieve before the next scandal hits? As for West's involvement, it's anyone's guess how his support will impact the case. Some believe it could sway public opinion in Diddy's favor, while others think it's just another distraction in an already messy situation. Either way, West's comments have added another layer of intrigue to an already complex story. And let's be honest, when he speaks, people listen, whether they agree with him or not.
Well, you got to do your due diligence, and his team should have did the due diligence. And a lot of times, people do slip through the cracks. There's things that you don't see and don't find out until later on. But I mean, when people are making claims like the way people are making claims, you have to do your due diligence to make sure that if you're having that person on your platform, which is a huge platform, that you're putting out the proper and correct news.
Now, if you thought Diddy's legal roller coaster was wild in itself, just wait until we dive into the saga involving his former partner, Cassie Ventura. The situation with Cassie has been one of the most talked about aspects of this entire ordeal, and it's clear why. It's messy, shocking, and full of twists that even the best screenwriters couldn't dream up. For years, Cassie was seen as Diddy's glamorous and supportive partner, a fixture by his side at red carpets, lavish parties, and industry events. But behind the glitz and the Instagram perfect photos, a far darker story was allegedly unfolding, and when she finally broke her silence, it was like a bomb had gone off in Hollywood.
Those situations lend to maybe some issues with tampering. And I do feel like there are victims who are scared to come forward, including my client. She was very nervous about if he was going to get bail this week. And once I told her, and then come after people, including her and some of the other individuals. And she was very relieved when he did not receive bail.
Cassie's allegations against Diddy first came to light in November 2023, and to say they shook the entertainment world would be an understatement. She accused him of years of controlling and predatory behavior during their decade-long relationship, laying out claims that included everything from manipulation to physical confrontations. It was a stunning revelation, not just because of the allegations themselves, but because of who they were coming from. Cassie, known for her hit single and her public image as a quiet, private figure, had never been one to air her drama publicly. This made her accusations all the more shocking, as fans and insiders alike were left reeling, wondering how much of what they thought they knew about her relationship with Diddy was actually true.
Can't believe it, like that somebody would do that to somebody that they say they love. Think about it, because she was on the floor passed out. She looked lifeless, and he was kicking her.
But here's where things take a turn that nobody saw coming. Just one day after filing her lawsuit, Cassie reached a settlement with Diddy. The speed of this resolution led to a frenzy of speculation. Some saw it as a sign that Diddy was eager to put the matter to rest quietly, while others wondered if Cassie had been offered an incentive to walk away. Whatever the case, the settlement didn't stop the floodgates from opening. Within weeks, more lawsuits and accusations against Diddy started piling up from other individuals, each one painting a picture of someone who had allegedly abused his power for years. The pattern was impossible to ignore, and suddenly, Diddy's entire empire seemed to be hanging by a thread.
Something else. Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
Yeah.
You said...
Now, let's fast forward to the present day, where Diddy's recent court victory in the Lil Rod case is being seen as a potential turning point. But while he might be celebrating that small win, the situation with Cassie is far from over. In fact, it's taken yet another dramatic twist. Recently, some of the evidence tied to her case has reportedly been removed, sparking whispers that Diddy's legal team is pulling out all the stops to reshape the narrative. And if that wasn't enough, a controversial video has also entered the spotlight, allegedly showing Diddy in a heated altercation with Cassie at a Los Angeles hotel back in 2016. The footage, which was released by a major news outlet, shows what appears to be a tense and physical confrontation between the two. It's the kind of video that not only raises eyebrows, but makes you question just how much more might be lurking beneath the surface. Diddy's legal team, of course, wasted no time in responding. They've claimed that the video was altered and have even gone so far as to accuse the outlet of tampering with the footage to make it more damning. According to his lawyers, the timestamps were removed and the speed of the footage was manipulated to make the incident appear more aggressive than it actually was. They're even alleging that the original copy of the video was destroyed, a claim that has only added more fuel to the fire. It's a classic case of he said, she said, and the public is left wondering who to believe. Meanwhile, Cassie's legal team has stood firm, insisting that the video is an accurate representation of what happened. Her lawyer even called Diddy's attempts to discredit the footage disingenuous, saying it's just another tactic to avoid accountability.
But Jones says he wasn't paid for the songs he produced, even though he says Combs and the defendants benefited from his work product.
But let's not forget, this isn't just about a single video. Cassie's claims have been bolstered by years of rumors and whispers about Diddy's behavior behind the scenes. From industry insiders to former employees, there's been no shortage of people willing to share stories that paint a less than flattering picture of the music mogul. And while many of these accounts remain unverified, the sheer volume of them has been enough to make even Diddy's most ardent supporters pause. It's a stark reminder that, in the court of public opinion, perception can often carry as much weight as facts.
Interesting because I think, we have seen many photos, videos of Sean Combs, aka Diddy, through the Associated Press, through Instagram. And so to see him kind of in person after being in jail for 3 weeks now was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I say that by being that you would expect him to feel a little defeated, a little gaunt, anything like that. But it wasn't that case. He appeared confident. He stood tall.
Adding another layer of complexity is the fact that Diddy has continued to receive high-profile support from some corners of the industry. Yeah, for example, has been vocal in defending him, even going so far as to publicly accuse Cassie of trying to extort Diddy. West's comments, as controversial as they are, have resonated with some fans who believe that Diddy is being unfairly targeted. But others see West's involvement as nothing more than a distraction, a way to muddy the waters and shift the focus away from the allegations themselves. But Ye isn't the only one stepping into the ring. In a surprising twist, some of Diddy's former collaborators have also come forward to speak on his behalf, claiming that the allegations against him don't align with the person they knew. A notable example is music producer Harvey Pierre, who worked closely with Diddy on several major projects. Pierre recently made a statement saying, "The Diddy I know is passionate about his work and his people. These accusations are shocking, and they just don't add up." While Pierre's comments have been met with skepticism by some, they've added a layer of complexity to the narrative. After all, if so many people are willing to vouch for Diddy, could it mean there's more to the story than meets the eye?
But most importantly and most notably, when he walked inside the courtroom, the first thing that he looked at was his family. As soon as he saw his family, he just lit up. Another thing to note, too, is he wasn't shackled, but he was wearing a khaki prison-like jumpsuit when he appeared inside court, and his family appeared on their end very just happy to see him.
Then there's the matter of Cassie's own career during her time with Diddy. Some insiders have suggested that her professional growth was stifled during their relationship, with Diddy allegedly controlling key decisions about her music and public image. This has led to heated debates online, with fans wondering if the control Cassie described in her allegations extended beyond their personal life and into her career. While Cassie hasn't directly addressed these claims, they've sparked a renewed interest in her music and a wave of support from fans who feel she was held back from reaching her full potential. Could this be part of the reason why she chose to speak out now after years of silence?
I'm not going to talk about anything that I haven't said in court or in the papers. These are all great questions. but I'm just not going to get into it. So
can you speak about your concerns about the leak and the video? You have spoken about that before.
I did it in the court papers, and I'm just going to stick to the court papers. As you guys all know, let me just finish. As you all know, I made a request today for what we were calling a gag order, and I'm not going to walk out of court and do anything other than live up to that.
Meanwhile, critics of Diddy say the support he's receiving is nothing more than industry loyalty, a calculated move by those who have benefited from his success. Some have pointed out that many of his defenders are people who owe their careers to him, creating a dynamic where speaking out against Diddy could mean risking their own reputations or opportunities. This raises another question. Are these endorsements of his character genuine, or are they driven by self-interest? It's a question that has only deepened the divide between those who stand by Diddy and those who believe the allegations against him are just the tip of the iceberg.
They're just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks because they know that their client is guilty, and they're just trying to do the best that they can with a guilty client.
And let's not forget the role social media has played in all of this. Platforms like Instagram and Twitter have become battlegrounds where fans, critics, and celebrities alike weigh in on the drama. Every new development sparks a fresh wave of posts, hashtags, and memes, each one adding to the already overwhelming noise surrounding the case. It's a double-edged sword for Diddy. On one hand, it keeps him in the spotlight, but on the other, it ensures that every detail of his legal battles is dissected and debated by millions of people around the world. So, where does this leave us? On one hand, Diddy's recent legal victories suggest that he might be starting to turn the tide in his favor. But on the other, the unresolved allegations and ongoing lawsuits are a constant reminder that his troubles are far from over. The situation with Cassie, in particular, remains a glaring question mark. Will the removed evidence and the disputed video be enough to sway the courts or the public in Diddy's favor? Or will Cassie's allegations, combined with the mounting claims from others, prove to be too much for even Diddy's formidable legal team to handle?
Does he have a shot? I think his attorneys raised some good arguments.
I think they raised good arguments as well. Maybe this will be third time's the charm, because the difference between this bail motion and the prior two is that this one really does get to the heart of what the court was concerned about, which was witness intimidation.
One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. With every court ruling, every leaked video, and every new allegation, the narrative continues to evolve. And while Diddy supporters might be hoping that his recent legal victories signal a turning point, his critics are quick to remind everyone that a win in court doesn't necessarily mean a win in the court of public opinion. As the legal battles rage on and more details come to light, the world will be watching and waiting to see how it all unfolds. What do you think? Is Diddy on the path to redemption, or is this just the calm before the storm? Let us know your thoughts and stay tuned for the next chapter in what is shaping up to be one of the most dramatic celebrity sagas of our time.